more I think about Akira Toriyama's passing, with games like that Dragon's Quest remake with Octopath Traveler gameplay, or even the hot and new Sandland, which DSP completely crapped on, by the way.
Another RPG?
A total dick move. As with the whole Jacksepticeye Resident Evil 4 comment he made recently.
I don't think they're ever going to remake Resi 5 because of the obvious racial conflict that's happening in that game, and I think it would be completely stupid. The game has not aged well in terms of who you're fighting.
Seriously, no fucking words will ever convey how much that annoys the fuck out of me. You're probably wondering why I brought up The Man again, and it's very simple. There was a new Dragon Ball game being announced, and you're probably wondering, well, am I going to do a padded out in memoriam segment again? No. Am I going to crap on the game without even playing it?
Sure, why not?
This rant actually comes from a request, believe it or not, from a reoccurring regular as of this recording. I hope I'm saying this right. Mr. Machiavelli, a pretty chill dude, and has some pretty interesting conversations, even being a fan since I made, ironically enough, the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection video log, talking about how much of a hope that it wouldn't be a dumpster fire, and, well, let's just say that my expectations have sunken so lowly that it's not even worth talking about anymore. But the upcoming Dragon Ball game, which is known as Sparking! 0, all caps, very stylistic choice by the way. According to the PlayStation store page, it says 1 player and 2 online players, and in the game and legal info, takes the legendary gameplay from the Budokai Tenkaichi series, and yet those games, alongside the original Budokai, all had one thing in common. They were local multiplayer, whether it be the Dead or Alive clone, or the evolution of the gameplay series, taking it in split-screen format, but still having the great gameplay that most people, except for me, because I didn't play those games back in the day. This new Dragon Ball game, that's supposed to be a sequel, that's somehow not in name only, to Budokai Tenkaichi, is not even having local multiplayer.
I thought that would be fucking obvious.
You release a Dragon Ball game that has known to have some of the best combat in fighting games for the IP that it has, and yet you're not going to have the luxury of having local multiplayer. The thing that keeps fighting games striving. I just don't understand how people are okay with this. Oh wait, I know why they're okay with it. Because people don't play fighting games locally. They don't play fighting games for the single player. They don't play fighting games against the computer, whether it be in interesting ways, like with how Tekken used to do it, or how the Street Fighter games, besides Third Strike, more along the lines of Alpha 3, or other games used to actually have races keep playing, besides just a basic vanilla arcade mode or whatever. Now, all people care about is they get to play against others online. This isn't just some name-state fighting game franchise that's known to be, well, balanced. Okay, I promise it's the last time I'll do that shit, but still. This is Dragon Ball, okay? Even if there were to be a Naruto game that were to be announced that wouldn't have local multiplayer, it would still be a bruh, what the fuck is this gay shit moment. Most of these games strive on just having you play against a person, preferably in person, because playing online is just...
Oh shit, this is another projectile character. I'm fucked.
Even as unorthodoxly structured as Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1 and 2 are, with its very limited local multiplayer options, you still have local multiplayer. But it's not designed in the same way as Dragon Ball Budokai and Budokai Tenkaichi are. I want to see how people are going to defend this one this time. Because whether it comes to the mainstay fighting game series that can't even sustain single-player interest for long, it goes back to the whole consumer mindset. People like to use that meme, but it actually kind of holds some merit. You're buying a Dragon Ball game, but it doesn't even have the mainstay feature, especially one of Budokai Tenkaichi. And you're probably wondering, why the hell am I rambling about this for a good couple of some minutes? Because it's absurd. And even though I have no nostalgia compared to other people, I watched Dragon Ball Z, obviously on Toonami. I'm not going to go on about how I'm a huge fan and then get basic shit wrong. But the time having played with friend, who has known about Dragon Ball, it baffles me that even I can pick up on some of the dumb things that Dragon Ball has done way later on. Like how the God of Destruction Beerus, which, considering his character, not only his name being based on a pun for alcohol, he wants to be taken seriously because he can literally blow up planets, but is kind of low-key written as a joke character who has an obsession with pudding like Goku has with food in general. Just seems like kind of shitty writing to me, to be honest. And I know someone's going to get on my case about that. Well, first of all, it's how I felt about it ever since I've seen the character in action, albeit in Xenoverse 2, but you think a character like God of Destruction would at least have some form of merit. It's like what Big Al mentioned in his old-ass rant when he talked about the detective dude from Lupin III. He's a comedic character, but he's also serious in his work. So you can at least take him seriously as a villain, even though he might seem like a funny gag, like a Saturday morning cartoon villain. Beerus, on the other hand, it just seems like he took the title from someone, and sure, he could blow up planets, but most of that just seems to be kind of taken away ever since he's been downgraded from actual villain to just Egyptian looking like cat who just wants his damn pudding. And then uses the "I'm gonna blow up your planet" like he's the Death Star's baby or something. It's just stupid. People wanted Toriyama to actually make Goku a better character, and well, unfortunately, much like with Steven Hillenburg, have kicked the chum bucket. I am not sorry for that joke. Forgive me for such patronization, but that's just the way I see the character, and you can't blame me for it, but I'm sure Sparking Zero could be good for the average Dragon Ball consumer. Even as someone who isn't exactly fond of Dragon Ball to the point that, oh shit, I gotta go buy it, it's kind of like why I wasn't really keen on playing a Kakarot game, because it is just, once again, a retelling of the other stories from the olden days, just on a newer engine and all the other stuff. Even as annoying as Fighter Z is, and yes, I call it Fighter Z because we don't call Dragon Ball Z Dragon Balls. There's a gay joke in there somewhere. It at least actually had an original story, albeit presented in an annoying way, and its gameplay being in a very annoying state, but it actually had a story that wasn't just retelling of the 3 arcs. And as a matter of fact, why, even when Toriyama was alive, why couldn't there have been actual Dragon Ball games, let alone other forms of media, actually having adaptations based around Super or Kai or whatever? It just seems that most of them want to have the retellings of the 3 main arcs, which, okay, great, yes, they were the founding fathers of anime, but it's like, not even Star Wars does it this annoyingly. And I know people are going to be shocked at that, but it's like, they have this expanded universe for Star Wars, at least until Disney killed it, but even when Star Wars was alive and healthy, you didn't see constant retellings of the original trilogy all the time. And even with the prequels, it wasn't a direct retelling, per se. Not every single Star Wars piece of media was a direct retelling, and Dragon Ball games are just direct retellings of the 3 anime arcs, and honestly, it was kind of annoying. I honestly have no idea how this game is going to be developed now, since Akira Toriyama is no longer with us, which is still heartbreaking knowing that he's not around anymore. And it really sucks that he was gone way too soon. But I really hope for the developer and publisher's sake that they make the game as good as he wanted to, even though his writing, let's be honest, wasn't as graciously presented in a way that would be acceptable, like with how they made Goku into a really shitty father. Oh my god, you're dissing Toriyama's work. A lot of people felt like that, and I'm not just the one who says it. Even Dark Child's felt that way. Unfortunately, he's just in the abyss now, probably being mad at somebody, being a hypocrite, even though he's himself one too. At least I no longer have to deal with being scolded about Elden Ring, even though I feel the way that I feel. Not that I want to feel that way, but it's almost as if I held From Software in a higher standard, and I don't want them to repeat the same shit that other developers are being called out for. But what do I know? I'm just a simp for Dark Souls 2, guys. Okay, let me just stop before I derail this entire rant into another From Software rant. Although I can't help it because I do believe that Namco Bandai is publishing it. Or whatever the hell they're being called now, but I don't have much else to say, to be honest. And I'm gonna go do something more productive, which is playing Dark Souls 2 in the hope that I can actually get my friend, who I bought the game for, into actually doing co-op. Let's see if we can actually do this in one shot. Just like the video game. With the funny cat, boy, girl, hybrid, whatever the fuck. There's too many people doing the Sue in front of Majula. I hope that it didn't rhyme. It would suck if that rhymed. What do kids know about memes these days? They know about Fist of the North Star, but anything else? Fuck that. Fuck that. Ciao. Vamos! Ow! I got hit. Fuck you. Yes! Well, see ya.
Men are props in stage of life, and no matter how tender, how explicit, a lie will remain a lie.